Welcome to another episode of Driving to the Res with your favorite hosts, Larry and Inelia. We're laughing a lot because Larry's trying not to look at the screen that we're recording.
I'm not looking. I'm driving.
He's driving to the
To
Res.
the Res. Right now we're going around Lake Crescent.
Lake Crescent.
You can probably see in the back window.
I don't know.
Well, you'll get a whack at it once here in a minute.
I wonder why we can't
flip your camera around.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
it's one of those things.
It's one of those things. They're lucky you got it going.
Yes, that's true.
It's a bit of a fight this week.
To record.
Record, yeah. We've been driving all day, every day.
Every day, except yesterday. We didn't drive yesterday.
Yesterday we
had to catch up on a lot of stuff.
I think that's the recipe for a week.
Mm-hmm.
You're running really hard all weekend, and then you're trying to catch up on the week, and then somewhere in there, get to your Zen space, right?
Yeah.
And then you remember, oh yeah, let's go sit in the sun.
Did we sit in the sun?
I did, yeah.
Oh, I didn't get to sit in the sun.
I was after lunch break.
Oh. Okay.
After lunch break, then it was sun break.
Okay.
You were working.
Yes. Indeed.
Yes. So I charged up for us.
Nice.
I thought about things like, let's go for a canoe ride on the lake. Yeah, I thought that might be fun.
That would be fun.
Go for a little paddle. I thought about things like, that was it. I thought about, it would be nice if we started recording our first hour of Driving to the Res with a video too.
And here we are, recording it.
We're recording it in a video too. And the reason is...
What is the reason?
We can't help but like watching ourselves.
Stop watching yourself. Don't look at the camera.
Don't
look.
Okay, I'm not looking.
Don't look.
I just wanted to see if the lake shows up. I'm just looking at the window in the back.
Don't do that. The lake is beautiful. I wish I could flip the camera, but it won't let me for some reason. It's very strange.
You have to push the flip button, but there is none.
There is none.
But it's
very strange.
It's very strange. Well, you might get lucky and get a lake look.
A lake look.
One of these corners.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe we have to back the truck up in order to see out the front. How can that be?
I don't know.
Literally, how can that be?
I don't know.
But for reals.
For reals?
For reals, the only way for me to flip this camera is for me to stop the truck and reverse.
The window in the back is really dirty.
Well,
do you
can still see lake.
You can.
There we'll get the good view.
Okay.
There's a good view. There's the sign.
That's the sign. That's a nice view right there.
Oh, I can't even.
You went too far. You went too far. You have to turn around.
I was trying to see the sign.
Oh, the
Lake
sign.
Crescent.
Lake Crescent.
Okay. I'll go this way now.
Yeah, Phoebe doesn't like us stopping.
No, she wants to go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, apparently this is how you...
Not see the back because the window's the monkey.
Well, I did my best.
You did your best. Yes.
You're the manual, flip the camera.
And I'm not going to move the camera because...
It took a while to get to sit there.
Yeah.
Well, Lake Crescent is very beautiful. It's one of the deepest lakes in the state. Probably the deepest in the state. It's kind of like Norway here. It's like...
So gorgeous.
The mountains are straight up and down. And when it hits the water, it keeps on going straight.
Yes.
All the way down to 600, 700 feet, something like that. For a long time, they didn't even know how deep it was.
Oh, I'm going to have to do it. All right. Let's see. It's just too beautiful.
It's just too nice.
Look at this.
This is like a clickbait for you to go watch the video.
Mm-hmm.
You know? We did a lot of work to get the video going. And now we hit the trees.
And now we just have trees. We can't see the lake.
Here comes a break. This is what you need in your day, you know. Once in a while, you just got to look at the lake.
Yes, that is very true.
I think this is coming up a nice spot. Over here is a place, they have a lodge over here you can have dinner.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite a nice dinner. There you go. You got a sec. One more second. And here's where the giant trees start. Look at that. Trees must be a couple thousand years old trees.
Yeah.
Okay, here comes a really, really nice little cove.
Okay.
There, now you can see real good. I'll even let the window down for you.
Yeah. There you go.
Is it working okay?
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. Really nice. Oh, okay, I'm putting the camera back.
Okay.
I'm a little bit worried of cars coming behind us.
I got a red flag in the back. Remember, we got a giant piece of wood.
Yes, we do. All right.
Okay, we diddled and daddled.
We did.
Now let's get to the real topic at hand here.
Today, we wanted to talk about psychic abilities.
Is that the same as psychic powers?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Psychic powers, psychic abilities. Yes. It's the same thing. And a lot of you people are actually super interested in psychic abilities and psychic powers, especially how to develop them. So that's why I thought we could talk about it today.
Okay. So, my psychic powers are telling me tomorrow we're having a class.
Yes, yeah.
Or
But tomorrow it's going to be maybe a few days ago by the time people listen to this podcast.
Hopefully that's... Yeah.
And the class, if you missed it, you can go to Subscribestar to download it. You can go to Walk With Me Now to download it, or you can go to ineliabenz.com and download it there.
Yeah.
From the store.
And the class is going to be, it's going to be about learning.
Yes, the class is actually about accelerated learning. How to superpower your learning.
Is that going to be kind of related to psychic powers? Can you accelerate your learning of superpowers using some of that class?
Well, in the way that we expand our awareness, yes. Because a lot of the time people call that expansion of awareness a psychic power. So, yeah.
Yesterday, I'm using my hand because we're on video. And
Yes.
I learned by watching YouTubes that you're supposed to do that.
Yeah, okay.
Quit it. I don't know if you've ever watched people,
Oh, it's driving! Oh my god.
but when they go to the class to learn how to talk on the video, they do this a lot.
Can you not do that?
I'm driving, honey.
Exactly. Just drive, honey. Drive to the res.
What I was going to say was yesterday we were at the house working on trim things.
Yes.
And we have a little, I didn't even know there's, I'm going to just teach you a few things, okay?
About trimming?
There's a thing called a pin nailer.
There's a thing called a pin nail. Okay.
Pin nail.
Pin nail.
And a pin nail doesn't have a head on it.
It doesn't have a head on it. A
And
pin nail doesn't have a head on it.
It's just like a pin.
I guess some men might know what we're talking about, and some women too.
So imagine a needle like you're going to sew with.
Mm-hmm.
The kind that doesn't have the flat thing at the end.
That's okay. That's a pin.
The flat thing on the end is the head.
Okay.
And
So
the straight
nails without.
the straight thing with the pointy,
Yeah.
that's the nail.
Okay.
In this case, it's called a pin.
Okay.
So
Pin
a
without the head.
Nailer will like nail the trim boards onto the side of the house.
Mhm.
It doesn't have a head on the top, so it just disappears.
Okay. Got it.
Unfortunately, our pin nailer was in a regular nail gun, so it was shooting them out 2 or 3 at a time, and it was mashing them into a little mushroom, and it was making a mess of things.
Oh my goodness. That's
And we didn't
terrible.
know that our nailer needed the kind of nails that have heads on them.
Oh my gosh.
So we went on a search, and I tried to use my deductive powers. See my hands working?
Yes, your hand is working.
Okay. Try to use my deductive powers. Does it make the video better?
No.
Why do they teach you to do that then?
I don't know, but you love it.
So I used my deductive powers I interviewed the people who would have touched the nails that we needed, because Hopi said, we have the nails with the heads on them. I used them in the shaman shack. I did all the trim there. We have leftover nails, a whole box of them. I gave them to Dan.
Yes.
Okay. And he said, I gave them to you in the garage. So I used my deductive reasoning. Then that means they're in the garage somewhere. Yes. I asked Dan, I said, do you know where they are? Dan said, I'm not sure. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I put them down on a shelf. And we have a lot of shelves in that garage.
So we went there and looked everywhere.
No, you didn't. You didn't. No. I did.
Yes, you did.
I'm using my deductive reasoning.
Yes.
My investigative skills.
Yes.
And I tried I'm going to walk right to it, even in the garage, which is one of my special superpowers.
Yes.
And there was nowhere to walk.
No.
So I said, okay, fine. I'm going to look everywhere. And I looked on every shelf, under every corner, everywhere.
Yeah.
Long story short, I think I went to get you and I said, honey, because I kind of wanted to use your psychic powers.
You said?
Can you help me find these nails?
And you could describe the box.
I told you what they looked like.
Yeah, you showed me what they looked like.
Yes.
You told me the box, and I said, they're in Dan's Jeep.
Yes, you said they're Dan's Jeep.
And you said no.
No, because Dan said he didn't bring them.
And he cleaned the Jeep, so they're not there, you said. So we carried on looking, and I kept saying, they're in Dan's Jeep.
You said they're not here.
They're not here. They're not here.
And I said, honey, just look.
Okay, I'll look.
Just look, please.
All right, I'll look, but they're not here.
Okay, yeah. Well, half hour later, guess what? They're not there.
They're not there.
Because some people, men mostly, I'm thinking, are stubborn. And I thought that I would be able to maybe just magically make them appear if I look hard enough. You know?
Right.
So if I try harder, it'll work.
Uh-huh.
Guess what? Didn't happen.
No.
So we did the next best thing. Give up.
Yes.
They will go find some tomorrow.
From the
There's
store.
no reason to do anything today. They can put off till tomorrow.
Right.
That's just a good motto to keep.
Yes.
That way you don't have to worry so much if things ain't getting done. You just don't worry. We'll do it tomorrow.
Yes.
It'll be
You love saying that. Yeah. You
Well,
say that about everything. Putting out the garbage.
The garbage can go out
Putting
tomorrow.
away your dirty clothes.
My dirty clothes don't get put away. They get took over across. My clean clothes, honey. My clean clothes. See? I'm right. It happened. Give me 5. I win.
I have no idea what we want, but okay. I lost track.
Well, we did give up. I gave up. You knew where they were, and you didn't give up. But you just like, okay, you guys, darling, you want to walk around in circles?
Yeah, that's fine.
You want to go to the store? That's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. And we went back to the house.
We did.
And the next day, it was tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Hobie said, I'm going to go look in the garage for them, because he knows exactly what they look like, where they would be. And he went down to the garage to look for them, and nope, they're not in the garage. You can't find them either. And it's the next day, and it's like, uh-oh, we didn't go order them. We didn't go to the store and get some. Now we have to do all this work, and we still don't have any. We only have whatever's left.
Did you think look in the Jeep?
No.
No, you didn't?
No, I didn't even...
You didn't remember I told you that's why?
Oh, yeah, I remembered you told us that, but no, I didn't even think about it. They're just not in the garage.
Okay.
So Hobie said, I'm going to go look in the Jeep. Finally.
Because he's got psychic powers.
He's got psychic powers too. And he went to the Jeep
and there they
grabbed the nails out of the Jeep and brought them to the house and said, here they are. They're right in the Jeep. Dan, you put them in the Jeep. Dad said, oh, those nails.
Oh my goodness. That's hilarious.
So, you have well-developed psychic powers, honey. You can find the nails. And somehow, some reason, there's a bit of resistance even to hearing the information when it's accurate. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
It's bizarre, but I think that might be part of why not most or all or a good number of people's psychic powers are maybe turned down a little bit. They don't listen.
They don't listen.
Even if it's wah, words coming wah, wah, wah out of your mouth. You still just can't listen.
Yeah.
So you think that's part of why some people's psychic powers are like developed and others aren't? Is they're just, I mean, what's with
learning
that?
to listen, I guess.
Learning to listen.
Yeah, definitely there's that aspect of it. I'm not going to listen to my knowing type energy, right? Definitely. There's also a lot of invalidation around what you perceive and see and sense. Like when I said they're in the Jeep, you said, nope, they're not in the Jeep because he cleaned the Jeep since we gave it to him or whatever.
They're not in the Jeep for the same reason there was viruses. It's because he told me. He told me they're not in the Jeep.
The virus thing is also an interesting one where the psychic powers are used.
Psychic powers came in.
Yeah.
The viruses.
Yeah.
Oh,
we'll talk about that in the second hour.
Yeah, that's a second hour. Talk about the psychic powers.
Yeah. Okay, so definitely that, invalidating yourself, others invalidating your scene, especially when you're a little kid and you have it full on and then your parents invalidate it. I was fortunate enough that growing up, my mom's family was part Native American, part Gypsy, and both those cultures have a lot of value in psychic abilities. So they figured out, and there's a funny story how my mom figured out that I had the ability to find things.
Yeah.
So when I was a toddler or a very young person, like 1 or 2, I used to use a dummy. A dummy is like what are those called in...
Ventriloquist.
No. It's a sucker thing that little babies are given.
My psychic skills say pacifier.
Pacifier, yes. Yeah, that's a pacifier in America. A dummy in England.
A dummy?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And I used to love it, this pacifier thing, right? Because you're a kid and you get attached to those things. And it came to an age where parents in Chile decide that the baby can't have a pacifier anymore because they're too old, and if they carry on using it, they're going to have teeth that stick out like that.
Oh yeah, right? They say that here too.
And I'm doing in the video, I'm doing my fingers in front of my mouth that's sticking out like that. So stick out. They didn't want me to have teeth that stick out, so they took away my pacifier.
I imagine that made quite a ruckus.
Yes, so I woke up, couldn't find my pacifier, and I said, Mom, you can't find my pacifier. And she said, oh, look for it, right? Look for it. And so I closed my eyes and I searched the house, like I scanned out into the pacifier shape, feeling of it and everything.
Yeah.
And I saw it I saw one of them under the bookshelves in the library.
That's a fun place for it.
Really, really behind the shelves, right, where nothing ever goes down there. Yeah, it must have fallen and kicked in there at some point or whatever. So I went to the library, I got under on the floor, I stretched my little arm out on my hand right to the back of the bottom shelf, and there it was. Right? And there was a lot of shelves in the library, but I walked right to it and I put my hand on it. And I pulled it out and I thought, great. And
got one.
Yeah. And it was it was covered in dirt and dust and spider webs, and boop, it went in my mouth. I was very, very happy. And I went to my mom and said, you're right, it was lost and now I found it. And she's like looking at me with, where was that? And it's dirty. And I told her and I showed her, and she said, how did you find it? And I told her I found it. And she said, oh, wow. Yeah, you have a superpower, you can find things. So it wasn't invalidated at all, right? Not only that, but every little thing that was ever lost after that, guess what?
Inelia.
Yeah, they'd find me. They would find me. And I would find it, right? And I would just walk to it and put my hand on it. And it's still to today, I just walk around and put my hand on something that I'm looking for. And, you could call it psychic powers, you could call it something else, I like to use that side of the brain that explains everything. So to me, it would be at some point in your life, you remembered that it went under the shelf, right? Or
Sometimes
because your awareness feels so much larger, and what you remember is a lot smaller because it's, you know, kind of experience bite sizes. But when people have done like what's it called, mesmerized things, what's that called? Hypnotized, yes. When people have been hypnotized, they remember lots of details that they don't remember consciously. So I could explain it away like that, right? However, there has been times when I haven't been to somebody's house. I haven't been there before, and they've lost something, and I find it for them. So all that deductive reasoning of at some point in your life you remember where it went, it's over.
You can't remember something you never went there.
Exactly. But also, I remember that people who've done research on remote viewing and all sorts of things, they make sure that nobody knows where something is, for example. And it's silly, right? It's very silly because it's like, okay, so what if remote viewing is about telepathy? Or experiential telepathy? And we could say, well, you found that item in somebody else's house that you've never been to because you tapped into their mind and you remembered through their mind, right? Through their awareness field. And it's like, so how is that different? It's still an extrasensory ability, right? It's still a psychic power, or whatever we might want to call it. So these are the type of things that we have to remember, that they get invalidated, and then because they get invalidated, then the person stops using it or invalidates it themselves and just ignores it. So when those little voices come in to tell you where things are or whatever it is, you don't listen and you ignore it because the data invalidates your scene or your feeling or what you think is there, right? You're trying to get your puppy?
She's a whine?
She's a whining right now.
I think she wants her dinner.
Yeah. Well, actually, she wants in the front, but...
Oh, well. I don't know why she doesn't just jump up here then.
I don't know.
She's a dog.
Yeah. So anyways, that was part of the psychic abilities things. Why we stop it. It's mostly invalidation, mostly that type of thing.
So the other day...
Okay.
We were going to go for our first bicycle ride of the year.
Yes.
And we're going to go by our house. Well, we had a
location in mind.
A location in mind, right?
Yes.
The road that goes between one of our house to the house, other house.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, 20 miles in the woods or something.
Mm-hmm.
We were quite surprised to find the house. The two houses are linked through
a road
to the woods, right?
Yeah, it's really cool.
And when we were getting all fixed up and ready to go, you said you got some information. Would you say that information was psychic power information?
Yes, I think it is. We were looking for something very specific, and what we were looking for... Did you want to talk about it?
I think that we can talk about it in the sense of...
generalities?
In the generalities. We can share more specific in the second hour.
Okay.
That seems reasonable and fair. I mean, it's an agreement with the thing that we're talking about.
So we wanted to connect with a certain species that lives in the area.
Yeah, that's good.
Right? So there's a certain species that lives in the area, and we wanted to connect with them. And I got data when I tapped in. And how did I tap in? I thought about these beings, and I kind of wanted... I had like that energy of beauty and that energy of enthusiasm, happiness, that type of energies. And then it became very clear, and in very clear ways that I could understand as a human, that they gave me some data, right? So go left, go right, and then on that corner, whatever's, right?
Yeah, data was specific.
Very specific data.
And we all heard it, or you told us.
I said it, yeah.
And we said, okay, cool.
But when we got there,
we just kept on going.
Yeah. I said, hey, this is the corner. This is the corner.
He's like, no, this is way too soon.
Yeah, you said, no, let's continue. Let's go all the way. Well,
we need to go for a ride. Yeah,
let's go for a ride.
Stretch our legs. We can always come back and look here.
Yeah. So that's what we did. And then I got tired and said, I'm going home.
Yeah, we went, I don't know how it was, but we went, I don't know, way like 6 times farther than I thought we did.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to go 6 times further than we did.
Yeah.
And you're like, first ride of the year, let's turn around, guys. Yeah. I'm tired. I want to look at where we were supposed to look.
Mm-hmm. So we went back there, and sure enough, there was clear signs of the species that we were looking for.
It was shocking. Matter of fact, I think that we can probably share that clip of video in our second hour.
On the second hour, we'll share the clip of the evidence.
The reason it's not in this, I'm not trying to be mysterious or make you clickbait or nothing. It's a private conversation between us and the species, and not public.
We decided, it was agreed that we wouldn't make this conversation public. So as long as we don't mention who they are,
then it's okay.
Then it's okay.
On a public way like this.
Yeah, exactly.
The point is that you got psychic information, and again, it was right on the money.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And in spite of that, we still not like invalidated it. We agreed with it, but we wanted to go look other places. Like we wanted to go look in the garage.
Yeah.
Not in the Jeep. The Jeep's too close. That's just right over there. Yeah.
Yes.
You're used to dealing with us.
And in fact, before we left the house to go to the garage, I said, did you check the Jeep?
No. I said, Jeep, no. Why would I check the Jeep?
And that's when you told me, he cleaned the Jeep, it's not in there.
Yeah, I hope he gave him those nails months ago, and he's cleaned the Jeep 3 times since then. There's no way they're in the Jeep. Oh, so, sorry,
yeah. So anyways, but we went to Oregon the other day.
We did.
To collect Brett, and you used your psychic ability several times, and it was pretty cool. You listened.
I did.
At one point, you know how to get home. At one point, you said, "Can you put the map on to see the navigation on, please? Can you put the navigation on?" I don't know why you said it.
I think we need to reroute around something up ahead.
Yeah.
And we've done this. This is like go through here. It's just simple. You just follow the sign.
Yeah. And we've done it so many times. But anyways, I said, okay, we put it on, and sure enough, like a couple miles later on the road, there was an accident on I-5, and there was a big delay. And we were just in time to get off the highway, go through a city.
Through a way we had never seen before.
Right. And then come back to I-5 after everything was like on the other side of the accident. It was like spot on. It was really cool.
It was within a minute or 2 of the turn.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And I was very like, honey, hurry, please.
Yeah, hurry.
Hurry, please.
Okay, got it. So that was pretty cool. So when you listen, things get easier. And also you had another situation when you were going to collect your son from Bellingham, right? The day before.
With the ferry. I just checked.
Yeah, the day before.
Yeah, I checked in a way. I looked at the 3 ways. There was 3
ways
or
to
4 ways to get to Bellingham.
Right.
One of them is like an extremely long way. You drive the whole way, 2 hours down and across a bridge, and 2 hours up. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's an hour. Anyway, it's a lot of driving. Another way, you go an hour and you go across a ferry to Seattle, and then 2 hours, 3 hours up. Another way, you go 15 minutes to a ferry, and then it's a couple hours of drive.
From where you were, right? Because 15 minutes from here, it's not 15 minutes from here.
Right. Well, no, it's a less drive to the ferry. It's a closer ferry than the other one.
Okay.
And then one way is the fastest way of all, by about 2 hours faster. Mm-hmm. And it's through a tiny little ferry.
A tiny little ferry.
that you have to have a reservation to get on.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have a reservation, you go on standby. You're going to probably wait 2 or 3 ferries, an hour and a half each. So it could be a 4.5 hour wait.
Right.
Because they only let on 12 cars that are not on reservations.
Yeah.
So I was driving and I said, Port Townsend ferry got in my head. I'm like, that's impossible. I don't have a reservation. But I said, all right, I'll listen. I'll call. So I called. I said, well, maybe I can get a reservation. So I called and I asked the lady there and I said, can I get a reservation? She said, all the reservations are booked for today until the last ferry, both ways.
Wow.
So that tells you that ferry is plugged.
Yes.
There's not one spot open. And I asked her about, look, an elk on the side of the road. 2 of them. Right there, honey.
Oh, cool. Yeah. They're big.
I talked to her for a minute and she said, there's only 12 cars that gets on that don't have a reservation, so I don't know what I'd tell you. Probably you better just go the other ways. Like, all right, thanks. She said if you want to get the 11 o'clock ferry, then you have to get into line at 10:30 if you don't have a reservation. Like, my goodness. Okay, thank you. So I'm not going there. I'm thinking, no, I analyze the situation, and the analyzation says no.
Yeah.
Just go to the ferry that's it's a further drive, but there's more of those ferries and you don't have to wait.
Right.
And I drove by Port Townsend, I still had to tug.
Yeah.
And then I had to niggle, turn around, and then a sign come up in front of me and it said, 2-hour wait for the ferry you're going to.
Oh my goodness.
All right, just turn around. I'll go. I'll go where I've been niggled, where I've been psychically directed and guided. It makes no sense whatsoever. I'm going there anyway. And I went. I pulled into line and I got my ticket. And he said, go to lane 3 or whatever. And I went over to lane 3. And all the cars were loading onto the ferry that's there already. So according to the lady that I called, I'll probably have to wait this ferry and maybe the next ferry.
Okay.
And then the guy waved me on. And I was the second to the last car on the ferry.
Oh my gosh.
I literally drove right on the ferry.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it worked out great. On the way back, I had the same look. And this time, I had the look, Port Townsend, no, don't do that one. Once you get there on the other side, you're trapped.
Oh my gosh.
Because you got to drive for hours up and down to get around to the other ferry. So, no, everyone's going to have fun at the beach. And you're on a very long wait if you go that way.
Okay.
And you're on a long wait if you go to the Kingston way. And you're on a long wait if you go to Seattle way. Because you're going to get traffic on both sides. And if you try to drive, you're going to be in stop and go too.
Wow. So what did you do on the way back?
I went to the Kingston Edmonds one. I knew that I had about a 2-hour wait. And I had about an hour and a half, 40 minutes wait. Yeah.
Nice.
There was no way back without a wait. It was 5 o'clock.
Right.
But I was okay. I just went wherever. I was going to go to Port Townsend anyway because I thought it'd be fun to hang out on the beach for a few hours. But it was more like 4 hours, and I wasn't into hanging out on the beach for 4 hours.
Right.
So I did tap into those places. I did get information. I did try to analyze it by using data, but sometimes the data conflicts with the psychic info, right? Like,
that's right, yeah.
It's not in the Jeep, honey.
Yeah.
Dan said no, and it's been cleaned. Hopi said it should be on the shelf. Dan said it should be on the shelf. Everybody says it should be on the shelf.
Except me.
Except for you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so these niggles and these abilities to perceive or to be guided, to find things, to connect with other people or beings, to tap into the future, to tap into the past,
follow paths,
to be able to know or get information from a person. Let's say they're not feeling well. What other things? Finding people. I had a situation with the finding of a person thing. I had a friend whose sister
was a drug addict, and she would always go missing. And she actually started a non-profit to educate law enforcement about a certain population that are not really capable of like adult decision type thing, you know. There's a lot of people who go missing and they've been homeless, or they have addiction problems, or even mental health problems, or even they're not like mentally adult.
Oh yeah.
But their age is adult, so when they go missing, nobody can say, hey, this person's missing, right? Especially if they've gone missing several times before. So that's why she's, been working on changing the law and working on training law enforcement to really look for these people. Anyways, her sister was one of these people. She'd been missing quite a few times. And one time she went missing, and she tried to look for her. She looked for her, and then she went to a psychic, and she's pretty psychic herself. And she said, I can't find her. I think she's dead. So I went to the psychic, she told me, and the psychic told me, I'm sorry, but your sister's dead. So I'm coming to you, and I know that you don't like doing these type of things, but can you please look and tell me if my sister's alive or dead? And I said to her, well, it's not that I don't like doing these things, but actually when I tap into somebody's energy signature, I actually can't tell. To me, somebody who's alive or dead, they have the same signature. So I can't really tell. And she said, please, 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 just do anything and just try, okay? I said, okay, I'll try. So I tapped into the sister, and I was scanning for her, and she was like, yeah, I can see that she's invisible to her sister because she doesn't want to be found. So I thought, oh, okay, so that's an information. So I followed that little bit of data, like an energy line thing. I followed that little bit of data, and suddenly, like again experientially, I saw her sister really mad at me.
Mad at you?
Yeah. And saying, just leave me the F alone.
Man.
Just leave me the F alone. Just go away. Go away. And I go, oh, that's interesting.
More data.
More data. So I call her back and I said, listen, don't quote me on this, but I don't think she's dead, right? I'm sorry that this other psychic told you that, but this is what I saw. And if she was dead, that was a really strange thing for a dead person to say.
Yeah, because why would they care?
They wouldn't care, right? So to me, she vanished from your awareness field because she doesn't want to be found by you this time. She just wants you to leave her alone. And also, like that really aggressive going, just leave me F alone.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it was too very, very energetic, So I said, from that data point, I would say that she's still alive. But like I said, I can't really tell usually. I mean, I wouldn't put money on it, right? So, and I don't want to give you false hope, but this is what I'm seeing. And she's like, yes, oh, thank you very much. Oh my God, my sister's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's the last time.
That's exactly not what you said.
Exactly, I'm not going to do that again, right? Well, it turns out 6 months later, she finds out that her sister's alive, that she actually didn't want to be found, and she was doing okay. She was sober, and she's just had enough of all that, other people doing things for her or managing her life, and she's just starting a new life,
Mm-hmm.
So it was accurate, but I didn't know it was accurate because I don't have enough kind of trust of, it's like using deductive skills rather than, yeah, I know she's alive, right?
Right.
Because I can't tell, actually. I can't tell. So, knowing your like limitations and things, so all these things are, to me, like psychic abilities, right? Finding people, finding objects, being able to perceive the future, being able to see the past, being able to tap into people's wellness. You know, I personally, to me, the wellness part, you know, say if somebody's not very well or they have an illness or some sort of disease.
Right.
To me it came through like, it wasn't like something I heard, it wasn't something I saw, it was actually something I would smell. So the information would come in as a smell. And
okay.
yeah, and it's kind of weird because I know for a fact that person is not smelly, you know, it's not smelling like that. But I perceive it like a smell. So when I perceive a certain smell in people, I can tell whether like they have diabetes or they have cancer or they have like they're flushing out toxins.
Flushing out toxins, by the way, is what we used to call sick.
Yes.
You're not sick, you're opposite of sick.
Right. So if there's certain toxins. Yeah, like having a cold or a flu, you know, those are actually flushing out of toxins. And what I could perceive and my perception would translate into a smell was the toxin that was coming out of their body.
Interesting.
And it smelled toxic. It smelled like a poison, you know. So,
Side note.
Side note.
Well, we heard some information that maybe helps with spikes. You know, when you're feeling spiked and your throat's all.
Well, we can talk about that on the second hour.
That's on the second hour too.
Yes.
Okay, well. Guess tune into the second hour.
Yes, for that.
Because we've been trying it out, and it's very portable. Yeah, portable, easy, and it seems effective. I tried 3 in a row, and I noticed.
Oh, you mean the homeopathic remedy?
Yeah.
Well, the way we can say it is, if you're in a public place and you start feeling unwell for whatever reason, like burning throat or scratchy or
headache,
like headachy,
just kind of feeling
you know,
overwhelmed by
energies or whatever. Then you can take Thuya, homeopathic Thuya 30C.
Yeah.
That's it. And this is kind of a supplement anyways, right? It's a homeopathic
treatment.
No, it's more like a remedy, but it doesn't do any harm. And I would check it with your homeopath to make sure it's something that is good for you. We have to do all these type of words when we're doing the public call.
Okay.
It's not medical advice, right?
Okay.
No. It is something that we do, and we find to be helpful.
It's working.
Yeah. The symptoms seem to subside. So for us, but you have to try it yourself if you want to try it.
Yeah. In the past, we have other ways of handling it, and mostly they also work, but they're not necessarily as convenient as this.
Yeah, a little bottle of homeopathic remedy.
Remedy is pretty handy to have on the road.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel a little scratchy, pop one of those. Hey, better.
Yeah.
If it gets the scratchies come back,
have
another.
Yep. Yeah. Until they go away.
Until it goes away, and it's handy.
Yeah.
I don't remember, and I wish I do, where it was that I heard that.
It was in a podcast by a lady who, yes, it was in a podcast with the Crows 777, I think. Or was it the other one?
Oh, it was the Irish lady, wasn't it? Yes, it was the Irish. I think she was a psychic.
I don't remember now, but oh my goodness.
I'll find it, don't worry.
Okay, we'll have it in the links.
It'll be in the show notes.
In the show notes, you'll see the link to the podcast. Larry will find it. All right, so psychic abilities. Back to the psychic abilities.
back to the psychic abilities. Would that be psychic abilities when I woke up in the morning with my hair combed the wrong way and I'm looking at it going, well, that's weird.
No, that's not a psychic ability, honey. That's just an experience.
You just remembered?
You have an experience of, we
no,
have
because you told me that I should check.
Check what?
Check if I have any memories.
Of what?
Of something that this would be reminding me of.
Yeah, but that's not a psychic ability.
No, you sensed or knew something was going on.
Oh,
I didn't know.
Right, but that was just logical.
You were just using your logic?
Yes, I was using my logic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever tap into the night and see if you saw anything?
Yes.
And what did you find? Did you see anything?
I tapped into your experience of it.
Yeah.
And tapped into your memories of it.
By the way,
others.
we do have that entire experience as
in
part
of
a podcast, right?
Yes. It's the ET experience.
It's the very first subscribe star, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So if you've already subscribed, you probably heard it.
Yeah.
If you're just starting and listening, it's there in the first one.
But the summary is Larry has had this visitation to kind of UFO, I suppose.
Yeah.
Ship.
Yep.
With certain very specific type of ETs, and also with a group of individuals who also go.
Yeah.
So that's the experience we've been talking about, really.
Yeah. The psychic part was, in my sense, that you used your deductive reasoning to say, hey, you did that, you should look, but when you tapped in or sensed into it, did you find anything there that caused you to be more interested in us looking or me looking at it?
Yes. Yeah.
Did it feel like a sense, or it was like direct information, or how would you describe it?
It was direct information. Direct information.
And you didn't say anything, which is good, because when you go to explore those memories, if you get
external
information before you look, you'll find that it makes it very, very difficult to look.
Yeah, you invalidate it, right?
You invalidate it. You look at it, you say, oh,
you
well,
don't want to be
told
colored,
me that.
exactly.
You don't want to be colored.
Yeah, you don't want to be colored by the person who described you going whatever, So I'm pretty careful with that. I like for people to explore their experiences themselves, and I can kind of say, yep, that's accurate. Or I think keep looking, maybe, but I never tried to guide them, look that way or look this way, and I was like, oh, okay.
Because that doesn't work out, does it? No. You end up with
I think
they give their power away.
Yeah, and I find that it's best for the person to, when a person's ready to remember those things, they will, and there's nothing you can do to stop it.
And if they're not ready,
exactly, the opposite is also true.
Nothing you can do to make them.
Exactly. So just be interested and let them get on with it. Really.
It's good advice.
Yeah. And there's been other times when there's been things and I say, hey Larry, why don't you look there? And you go, I'm not interested, and go somewhere else, right? So it's not just about the ETs, it's when a person's really ready for something, they'll go, whoa, yeah, and let's look and see. Oh, yeah, it's an ocean over there. Yeah, it works that way.
Yeah. So one of the things that we were talking a little bit about was how to develop those skills, but that you didn't have to do anything to develop those skills, did you?
I think no. So I think the majority of people have had more than one lifetime of both invalidating but also being afraid of having these abilities or showing them.
Yeah.
So they really suppress them. And the thing is about, and what we teach and everything is about really
it's kind of like finding a tribe, right?
Learning it back, like remembering it and using those muscles again. That's what it's about. It's using those muscles again. And from my material, there's a couple of things you can get. You can get Are You a Witch, which has a lot of exercises for you to start. Yeah, there's a book. It's a book called Are You a Witch? It's in ineliabenz.com. And you can get a lot of those exercises and start doing them every day, right? Do them. Just start practicing those muscles. And the other thing is we have a class called Mystical Powers for Everyday Life. I think that's what it's called.
Sometimes they get renamed.
Yes, sometimes they get renamed. We'll put all those links anyways in the show notes. But yeah, so there's also other types of things that people call psychic powers, like levitation, telekinesis, what other things, like combustion, being able to light a fire without using matches.
A lot of these skills are like they sound fascinating or interesting, and so they say, yeah, I want to learn how to do that, but it doesn't seem like they actually have a strong enough why to actually carry them through.
Correct.
To doing it.
Yes,
because
correct.
For a variety of reasons, I'm not sure what.
Mm-hmm. So, and for example, the lighting a fire thing, there's ways in which you can. Do you remember?
Well, I remember one of the whys you don't.
Right.
Because if other people could,
yeah,
you're afraid. If that's a true thing, then anybody could do that and burn any of your stuff up. So
yes.
Your fear stops you to stop everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
So those things, it's like the collaboration, the co-creation of reality.
Yeah.
So when a person is more mature, an elder maybe, and very, very wise, a wisdom keeper perhaps, those individuals would be able to do things like that.
They would be entrusted with the skill.
Exactly.
Entrusted by the
collective.
By the
human collective, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if you don't trust yourself or you don't trust others, you're not going to be able to develop some of these things. Some people came in with certain powers and abilities and skills, and that's the other point about psychic abilities that I wanted to talk about a little bit.
Okay.
Is that just because a person has psychic skills doesn't mean that they're wise or enlightened or that their awareness is expanded.
Or they're a good person, or they're high frequency.
Or that they're a good person or high frequency. Yeah. In other words, they could be low frequency person, they could be a dark worker, they could be like very asleep.
Could be possessed.
They could be possessed,
All kinds of things.
Ooh. So that's a really important thing to understand and to remember, because I've met a lot of people who have trusted individuals because that person was able to use certain psychic abilities.
Right. So that means trust them and believe them.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, that's a recipe for disaster.
I know. And one of the abilities that is often exploited by people who have it, is the ability to put a person into a state of samadhi, which is a state of enlightenment, or bliss.
Right.
Like it's a very instant,
Invoke
very
a
short.
bliss field.
Yes. So they can invoke a bliss field and then either touch the person or just be in their presence, and they can generate this field, and there are other people feel it and go into that field, and they immediately think that this person can do that because they're enlightened. When that's not actually true. So that's one to be aware of. And
I've fallen for all of them.
Yes, I know you have.
Except for the one with the tarot card reader lady in Old Sacramento.
Oh, yeah.
I had already learned enough from you to not fall for that one.
Okay, can you explain what that one was?
She was reading my cards. She gave me a nice reading, and it was nice. Except for there was something very, very wrong
with you,
with me, that she could figure out and work with me to solve.
For how much?
1,000 or 2,000 or 20,000. She just said a bunch of numbers until I went like, ugh. And when I choked, she went down again. And I said, well, I learned a thing called fear processing exercise, and I'm not afraid of that happening.
Okay.
So I won't be needing your
services
for that. Thank you, though.
Oh my goodness.
I was still gentle and nice about it.
Yeah.
But clearly she was hoping she had a fish on the line.
Yes.
And, it works.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
What can I say? It does
it's
work.
very unfortunate because psychic individuals, not all of them, but a few kind of dampen it for everybody, right?
Yeah.
And it's few individuals who have psychic abilities are exploitative and will use it to make a lot of money or exploit a person in different ways.
Right.
Like the several individuals who we've known who have the ability to put a person in bliss, and they will go around healing people with their private parts, right?
I don't want to know about that bliss. I'm sure that bliss works real good. Until it doesn't.
Yes, it's terrible. I think it's awful. So, yeah. Be aware, be street smart.
Some people have bliss parts.
Mm-hmm. Be street smart. And make sure that, if you want to learn more, go to get the material that we have put out already.
Right. It is something of a serious topic, and we're making light of it.
Be street smart.
Be smart. Be smart about it, and if it's happened to you in the past, don't be ashamed.
Right. Don't carry it as a defining factor. Just say, oopsie.
Oh,
it's an oops. Yeah,
I
it's
did
an
that.
oops. Yeah.
I can tell you.
I fell for that one. Oops.
I didn't fall for it every time, but I did fall
Exactly.
for it one time.
Yeah,
Got me real good, too.
Yeah.
It happens.
It happens.
It's part of the reality.
And it happens because you're a good person and you would never think that another person would be doing something so negative,
You have these skills and these abilities and you'd use them to take advantage of me. Never crossed my mind.
Exactly, yeah.
Never crossed my mind. That's because you yourself wouldn't.
Would never do that, right?
So it's more of a reflection of how good a person you are.
Exactly.
So yeah, don't carry that shit around.
Mm-hmm. Did you say anything more about psychic abilities that you wanted to talk about?
Well, it seems that I've heard that aliens have psychic abilities, like way more than people.
And what kind of psychic abilities do they have?
They have the ability to control your memory, the ability to control your actions, to paralyze you, all these kind of things with their psychic powers. And they can compel you to do things. I've heard that Sasquatches can even do stuff like that. So what about those things? You think that's true?
Compelling and making people forget as a psychic ability. I've never heard it called psychic ability, but I guess we could call it that because it's not an ability that we normally use in daily life.
Somehow manipulate a person's memory using their psychic skills.
Yeah.
Compel them to forget or overlay a false memory
Yeah, I've heard about those as well, yeah. Overlay of false memories, make them forget. But all these things have to happen with the person's agreement.
Right.
And whether the agreement is, oh no, they're more powerful than me and they can do things to me. That's an agreement. Another agreement is, yep, you're right. I don't want to remember this because it's going to ruin my daily life. That's an agreement, right? Another agreement could be, but I just don't want to remember it. That's it. And it's gone. So personal agreement is necessary, whether it's an agreement through fear, subconscious agreement, or conscious agreement. You still have to agree for you to be able to be manipulated in that way.
Can it be a part of a collective agreement?
Yes.
In the sense that we collectively agree in a way that this stuff isn't to be taken seriously, so we don't take it seriously or remember it or whatever.
Right.
Because if we took it seriously and remembered, we'd be ridiculed and that would take us off the thing that we want to do, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of possibilities, right?
Yeah. Also, maybe you're here to do one thing, like become a very excellent, let's say, chiropractor, right?
Yep. Let's say.
And you're being trained and you go over to a ship and learn like really good skills of healing that you use during your chiropractic practice, right?
Yeah. And
but if you remembered about your abilities learning or your schooling that happened in the ship, then your focus of life might go into let's investigate ETs, and you will stop healing people through chiropractic.
Or you might have alien ship ET chiropractic services, and I don't know, maybe it won't be quite so successful.
I think they would be very successful, actually. There's a lot of people who...
Depends on
exactly
who your target audience is.
Yes.
Yeah. There might be unconscious memories of it.
But it would
be... Yeah, you're right. It'd be a distraction from what you wanted to come to do.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So go from healing to let's investigate ETs.
Because that's an obsessive thing, so different, and it takes
They're
a lot
different.
of your focus.
They do take a lot of your focus, yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that could be as simple as that. It could be that you forget as simple as that. That's the reason.
So is it then, see, it kind of goes in a circle now. Like, do they have the ability to do that? Yes, with your agreement.
Yes.
Does everybody and anything have the ability to do that with your agreement? Or you just do it on your own to yourself? Is it all just doing it to yourself?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. But they do help. I guess the larger agreement is, agreed upon. Somebody needs to agree to be forgotten.
And
right?
It could be that was part of one of the free will violations, in a sense, that you agree to it, but you kind of like got coerced to agreeing to it through a collective agreement.
No, because you're still choosing to be part of that collective.
But kind of.
So no violation of free will. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, when we're talking about the subtleties, it seems that you get lost in them. But I think that we could settle with this saying. We could try this. Try this for size.
Okay, let's try this for size.
So they do have ability to focus. I mean, how much, a bajillion different kind of aliens?
Yeah, a lot.
So some are good, some are bad, some are nice, some are mean, some are big, and some are little, and
some are human.
Care a dang a lot about you, and most of them don't give a hoots about you.
Right. Yeah.
But let's just say the ones that you work with individually, who you have contact with, those ones, if it were that you were to remember, you would. If it was to be that you're not supposed to, you don't want to, and part of your arrangement is you don't, then you won't.
Right.
And if you want to call it they did it to you, you can.
Yeah.
If you want to say they encouraged you, you can. If you want to say they have the ability to do it, you can.
Yeah.
And they do.
Yeah.
But they don't without your agreement at some level.
Exactly. Yeah.
And a higher level, not a lower level.
Right.
Because you can disagree. You say, I want to remember, right?
Yes.
But at a higher level, you don't.
Right. And
at
by higher is a
level,
more expanded awareness, right?
Yeah.
At your expanded awareness self, you might say, nah, not a good idea to go down that.
This isn't where we want to be. This isn't where we want to go.
Right.
We could still probably push it. It's not like we haven't ever gotten ourselves off track before.
Right.
But it won't be easy. It'll be like our niggle language will give us plenty of hints, right?
Yeah.
We'll like write a giant UFO book and nobody will buy it. Something like that might happen.
Could be.
We'll go to 6 or 10 sessions to try and remember our repressed memories. And the first one will get sick, and the second time you go, it'll be a fraud person who doesn't even know what they're doing. The third time, your credit card won't work. The fourth time, you force it, you pay cash, and you find one with the open sign, and you're happy to walk by, and you walk in, and they start going, and they get sick halfway through. So I mean, it's like probably you'll help yourself not remember.
Exactly, yeah.
And the Human Collective will help you with the orchestrations too.
Yes. But when you do decide to remember, right, the opposite also happens. You get a lot of signs.
Your own roommate is a past life regressioner.
Yeah, so you have a lot of signs, you have a lot of information, you have a lot of opportunities to open up that door. And it's like that niggle. It'll be all the time. It's like, oh my gosh, I can see whatever. That reminds me of whatever, So remember that too, that when you do decide at a more expanded awareness level or a higher self level that you want to remember now, you will break through that fog and start remembering through your smaller individual, more shrunk in awareness field that you call yourself in a normal mind, right?
So would you think then psychic powers are something like your expanded awareness is all they are?
Yeah, we could call it that. But yeah, you could call it that.
Because it's like you could see with your eyes at
Yeah.
this narrower level, and at
Yeah.
an expanded level, you can see with your third eye. I guess that's the word we use, right?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, me too.
I think we should close with I'm going to turn the camera around. You can look at the wonderful Canada and Straits of Juan de Fuca. Here, hold on. I'm turning the camera around.
You can turn in the car and see if we can see out the dirty window. You haven't cleaned the window.
You can, but it's just so dirty. How about you pick up the camera, honey?
Okay.
I'll open the window for you. There. CQ.
Oops. Okay. It's very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It was a nice conversation. A nice drive to the res.
Yeah, it's very nice.
I like it on video.
Yeah, me too. And if you're listening to this on audio, we were looking at the camera outside the window. Love you, darling.
Love you too, honey. Gotta come closer. Can't reach that far.
We have our seatbelts on, see?
Safety first.
Bye.
Bye.